So now me and my little broom are declaring war to the mess. Let the battlefield be ours. Starting with the little battlefield over here. The dead bodies are probably in here, but it's going to be fine. And we are also going to have a baseboard and some paint on the walls and a new cabinet. Okay. My balance isn't what it was last week and the week before that. Anyway, yeah, we are going to give this corner a little makeover. Okay, it's going to be fine. Oh my god, I think we need a little bit more than just a broom. Oh my god, this is so bad. Okay, I'm going to get reinforcement troops. Because believe it or not, just a vintage broom is not going to win this war. And this room behind me, woo! That's like a lost war. I just started sorting all of the stuff in this room this morning. And I started with boxes and boxes of paintings. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start and where to put things. You know, we bought all of these boxes as mystery boxes. And we took out all of the things that we loved. And now all of the leftover paintings need to go somewhere. Wakey wakey! Now unfortunately, the list of DIY jobs is a tiny bit longer than just adding a baseboard and painting a wall. Because we need to fix the ceiling, we need to trim out the door frames, we need to make a threshold. What else? I would like to change the door. Okay, so I just dragged an entire door down from the attic only to discover that it's way too small. It is a bit on the small side. Why are you doing this to me? I was really planning to use this. Okay, so it's going back up. Oh! And a new piece of glass in the bathroom door would be great too.
Het is echt heel dik glas. Heb je dat ooit gezien? Zo dik? Ik heb dat nooit zo dik gezien.
Nee. Oh, Rogier.
Ja?
A murder scene on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Let's just call it progress. As for the little room behind it, territory has been conquered, laundry has been folded, old objects have been sorted, but the war has yet to be won. Day number 2 of moving stuff. I think we need to make it a little bit shorter. This, I mean, because this over here is really tight. And there's obviously going to be trim on top of this going up over here. Going up and down the ladder to move my camera around is actually more work than painting this entire wall. And that's the reality of making YouTube videos. Everything takes 10 times the time. But what you get for it is a very satisfying image of me removing this stain on the wall over here. Is it sharp? Check, check, double check. Going up the ladder. Painting over the stain. I was actually thinking about painting this hallway in a fun color. A very light color though. Because I don't want to make it very dark. But I don't know what color to pick. Right now I'm considering a very light dusty pink or a very light color of green. As in a really subtle color. But because I can't make up my mind and Rogier is not giving me anything when I ask him about what he wants. For now, white it is. Okay, so now this is the 3rd day of me clearing things out. I am making progress though, lots of progress, because this whole side of the room is empty, except for one piece of furniture that I actually moved in, because it will go over here in front of this wall that was painted in this horrible yellow color. But the yellow is no more. I need to take the plasterboard ceiling out because it looks horrendously bad. But before I can do that, I need to make sure that everything over here is going somewhere else too. And yeah, I also have to admit that most of the things over here are actually mine. Because it is Etsy shop merchandise that I have been collecting for quite a while now. Because, sweet lovely people, I am starting an Etsy shop. Right now it's still a little baby though, so it's going to need a lot of work. The storing of all of these things, all of this Etsy merchandise, it needs to happen in here. There is a big difference though, in my opinion, in between a good solid storage solution and a dumping ground. So far all of this entire room was a dumping ground. But this is not what I'm going to turn it into. I'm going to turn it into a lovely, cozy, fun little space. And yes, there are going to be stored a lot of things in it. I also want to use it for the sewing projects that I might want to do. So I want to have my sewing machine somewhere over here with a little table underneath the window. And what else? Maybe I also want to do some little DIY projects in here. Some little things that I don't want to do in the barn. Like framing art. I don't know. Some stuff, you know? So it's going to be a little bit of a combination in between an arts and crafts room and a place to store all kinds of things. The name of my Etsy shop is going to be the Blue Duchess. Blue because the theme of the shop is going to be blue and white. And the Duchess, obviously, because I am Dutch. It is not just going to be blue and white though, because I'm also going to sell all kinds of things in other beautiful colors. I just have so many cool things, like a whole bunch of these little sets of a little cleaning sponge and a little cleaning towel. And it's so adorable and looks so vintage. And I have a lot of kitchen things like these towels that I bought in the thrift store in Sweden. Some incredible vintage lamps that I desperately want to keep. Shit. This is also so adorable and cute and typical Dutch. Because it was used to store ontbijtkoek in, which would translate into a breakfast cake. It is something a little bit in between a cake and bread. And people usually eat it with butter on it. And this is a really cool set of vintage kitchen decor. So I'm going to need to take hundreds of photos of all of these things. And then I need to add all of these things to my shop. Oh, this is a part of the door that was not going to fit. But now it is going to fit. Because Rogier is going to adjust the door frame to make it fit. So that's great. So I can't lose this. This needs to be in a safe place. Okay, so this little table will go to the attic. And then another table, my little table, will go in here. Oh. Oh my god, it's the entire ceiling! Or not. Oh no, it's just a little piece. Oh. Okay. How are you guys doing? Are you okay? Shit. I need to bring all of this mess downstairs. Okay, so now the painting around the door that goes into the little project room is going to have to wait, because we are going to adjust the door frame. So there is no point in painting it right now, because it's all going to be messed up anyway. So for now I'm just sticking to this little piece of the hallway, and then the other parts of the hallway are going to be little projects on their own. Also because all of the things in this little room over here, you know, it's a lot. And I can't do this entire hallway and this entire room at the same time. Especially also not because I also have my barn project that I want to get back into. Right now it's on a little bit of a hold because I am going to need some help. The inside of the roof has some really big sheets of plate material, and those sheets of wood need to come down. And they are so big and so heavy that I don't think that it's a good idea for me to do it without any help. As for the little room, Rogier came up with a brilliant idea that I wasn't expecting. And this idea is to paint the entire space white, as in all of the beams, except for, let me show you. Ooh, it's very clean, by the way, and very empty. So except for the beams that you see in the room, all of the other ones, so with the other ones I'm talking about the beams that are attached to the roof, are going to be painted white. Except for this one and the one over there. This is going to be painted too, so everything is going to be white. And then this wall over here is going to have the same wood as the wall that I already painted, and it is also going to be painted in the same color of blue. We also considered drywall, but it is going to be such a difference in between this wall and all of this over here that we decided against it. So this is going to be a little project. And then as for the space underneath the roof over here, the plan right now is just to keep it very simple and just to make curtains from about this high down. And then we can use all of the space behind it as storage space. The same for the inside of this cabinet. This is also going to store all kinds of very fragile Etsy merchandise. And you probably recognize this piece of furniture because it is my kitchen island from my house in Amsterdam that I picked up, and now it is here. So I'm going to spend some time with painting the drawers. And then all of this is going to need a second coat of paint. This little table was something that I was planning to put underneath the window, but it looks absolutely ridiculous over there because it's way too small. So now I'm thinking about putting it over here, maybe. And then I want to do something else underneath the window. Maybe I want to build something, because I also need to sort out this corner over here. I don't know. I need to think about this whole situation underneath the window. So we need to change the electricity over here too, because it needs to go over here into the wall. As for the ceiling, we need to fix the boards up there that are a little bit broken. And we need to fill in the gaps. These little beams, those, are going to be changed out for something a bit longer that will go all the way to the end, to the roof. Because right now there's a gap in between the beam and the roof and it looks very ugly. Right now the plan is also to take this big beam that we have over here out. When Rogier bought this farmhouse, this little wall wasn't here. So then this big beam was supporting the entire attic floor. Right now though, we don't need it anymore because the attic floor is also leaning on top of this wall, so we can take it out. In the other little room, the blue and white farmhouse bedroom, we actually decided to put plasterboards in between the beams, and then we plastered all of these spaces, and it was the most ridiculous job. It was so much work. So for in here I decided just to go with painting because it's just too much. Now I also need to give you guys some very necessary updates about the clinic that I went to, the test results that I got, and a treatment plan that I'm currently on right now. And I need to take some time to sit down and to tell you guys this entire story, because it's a very long story and I just can't fit it in. Doing all of these DIY jobs and sharing this entire story, it's just too much. And then besides the whole health journey story, there's also a story about my house in Amsterdam, because I'm actually currently in the process of giving up on this house. And it has been really emotionally difficult for me. I am in the process of moving all of my things out over here. So the house is going to be gone. So yes, I do want to tell you guys a little bit more about it. But I'm going to need some time to deal with the whole emotional part of it myself before I can just sit down and talk to you guys. Because right now, the only thing that I want to do is cry when I think about it. So now, because of this situation with my house, I also have all of my pieces of furniture. And I want to find a place for some of it. Over here in the farmhouse. And all of the other things will go into storage. Okay, so now I also found this lamp in the thrift store for $7.50, which I thought was a pretty good deal. But unfortunately we don't have electricity yet. So I can't even try it to see if it works. Or at least I can't do it over here. But it looks nice, right? And I'm assuming that it is going to be fine. So now I'm also going to spend some time on thinking about what to hang on this wall. I do have one option that I do like, but it's a little bit on the dark side. Let me show you. So it's a little farmhouse and a windmill. So it is very Dutch and I do really like it. And maybe it is actually not a bad idea to hang it. And maybe we need to hang it over here. And then we can also hang something else underneath it. Okay. Oh. It's hollow. The wall. And then this is the one that I was talking about. Oh yes, I think that this needs to live here. So I actually decided that I want to get rid of probably about 70% of all of the things that I own. Because if I'm going to move to a different country, I want to start over. And I'm just going to keep the things that I absolutely love the most. And all of the other things are going to be sold. So the little things are going to be sold in my Etsy shop. And then all of the big things I'm going to sell on the Dutch marketplace. So it's going to be a really big project, sorting out all of my things. And that's also why I am going to need this room. So it is a priority right now to finish it. A priority over the project in the barn and all kinds of other things that I also want to do. Because right now there is a giant pile of my stuff downstairs, boxes, and it just needs to go somewhere. The same for the rest of this hallway. This was just a fun little thing that I actually already started before we went to Sweden. And I just wanted to finish this little corner of it also. Because, you know, it is going to be nice to at least have a little bit of a start. And then later on I will continue the entire rest of the hallway. And I will probably chop it into little pieces. Because I really liked just doing this little part. And you know, it's easy to squeeze something like this in amongst all kinds of other projects. So it's definitely a great way of just making sure that things get finished. You know, just chopping it into little projects. And just starting with one little corner somewhere in your house. It really works. So talking about houses, the house in Sweden, the last one that I showed you, the one with the time capsule house. Oh my word. How I loved this property. And if the time capsule house and the barn that belonged to that house would have been a part of the property, then I think that we would have bought it. Because Rogier absolutely loved it too. But they didn't belong to the property. and therefore we didn't buy it. We tried, you guys, to convince these other people to sell us this house too, the time capsule house, but they just didn't want to do it. Now the owners of the time capsule house just don't want to get rid of it because they are emotionally attached to it, because it has been in the family for a long time, and they have plans to renovate it. And you know, this is also the reason why we don't want to buy this property, because those people are going to be in our garden basically, and it's not the right thing for us to live like that. We want more space. Oh my god, I need to sit down, you guys, because I have cramps. The most horrible cramps. The search for a house continues. I don't know, I guess that it wasn't meant to be, right? And there's going to be perfect property for us somewhere in the near future. And maybe it's a good thing that it didn't happen yet, because there's so much to do in here before we are even going to be considering of putting this farmhouse on the market. So let's just continue all of the projects, and then, you know, we are just going to trust that the universe is going to give us this house when the time is right. So for now, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I also really hope to see you next week, because next week I'm planning to make a lot of progress. Bye!